It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from Polly's Brew Co. And this is a can of the Infinifold. Now that took me a long time. That was a bit of a tongue twister for me. Let me know in the comments box, was that a tongue twister for you? This is an IPA at 5.9% ABV, just released into Sainsbury's. And I have my receipt here. It cost me £3.50 for the can, 440 milliliter, but it's the name. I was like, Infinifold. I was like, ooh, it was bending my mind for some reason. Infinifold, there we go, I got it. Brewed in Mould in North Wales. For me, Mould, when I was a kid, I used to support a club called Town Football Club. You know, when you're young, you're passionate about your own town, aren't you? And then you quickly realise that you don't want to watch rubbish football anymore, and you quickly kind of like go to the big teams in the Premier League, don't you? So, but Town United, a Town Football Club, used to play teams like Mould and TNS and Abertillery, you know, for as much as you, as a youngster, want to watch the dream, you know, like the Disney movies where the hero always comes out on top. In reality, that never happens, does it? So I quickly realised, oh, maybe not follow Town anymore, and maybe follow, I don't know, Everton. Right. Oh, God. Anyway, beer in the glass. Let's get it out. Good levels of carbonation on the can opening. Beer in the glass. So, but I mean, in Town's defence, we did make the second round of the UEFA Cup once when I was young. We had to put all sorts of kind of like temporary stands in because thousands of people wanted to watch us play Aberdeen, a Scottish team called Aberdeen. We beat them. We beat Aberdeen in Barry. It was an amazing time for Town, and then it kind of all quickly unravelled because they spent too much money on players and there was no real return for their expenditure. One finger white head on the beer then. Good levels of carbonation. Straw coloured hazy IPA. Looks very good. And I believe off the top of my head, this is the first beer by Polly's to hit Sainsbury's. And before I get into the beer review, I think, and I called it, I definitely called it, 3 years ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, Polly's Brew Co. first put a beer into Marks and Spencer's. And like Thornbridge, and like Brewdog, and like anybody else, Magic Rock for argument's sake, you dip your toe. You dip your toe, you work out how it's done, you work out how to put beer into a supermarket, and then all of a sudden your beer's in supermarkets and in every supermarket, like Brewdog and Thornbridge. And I mean, I don't blink an eye now to see Thornbridge Jaipur in Home Bargains, whereas Thornbridge Jaipur back in the day launched in Waitrose, and it was fantastic. Thornbridge Kipling, Thornbridge Jaipur, big bottles in Waitrose 10, 12 years ago, absolutely incredible. Polly's are doing the same thing. They started in M&S, then they launched 2 beers into Morrison's, then I'm not sure about Tesco, now they've launched a beer into Sainsbury's. It's almost like a gentle ease into becoming a supermarket brewery. But up until now, the beers that have launched into the supermarket by Polly's, they've been terrific. They've been really, really good quality beer. So let's hope this Unifold is as good as the previous beers that have launched into the supermarket. Let's get the aroma. Now then. And just like Thornbridge with their Jaipur, and Brewdog with their Punk IPA, and Magic Rock with their beers, all of a sudden, you think you're buying terrific beer, you think you're buying the best beer in the world, and this might be the moment that Polly's have lowered their quality on their beer. And there's not much of an aroma on this beer. It smells like something from any other canned beer on a supermarket shelf, and that's a real shame. That's a real shame, because when you used to try the Polly's Brew Co beers in M&S and Morrison's when they first come out, of course they're looking to make a big splash, aren't they? They're looking to make a difference, and then they're gently easing their way into becoming, dare I say it, a mediocre brewery selling £3.50 cans of craft beer in the supermarket. And I'm afraid, by the aroma of this beer, this might be the first beer of many from Polly's that is just not that good. I'm going to dive in, of course, give you my honest opinion, but my honest opinion of the aroma is not great. It's not a great aroma. It's not punching out the glass like, the aroma's not flying out the glass like it used to from a Polly's beer. It's a bit kind of like musty and smells a bit like Hazy Jane, to be honest with you. Let's dive in. Cheers, everyone. Yeah. It was always going to happen. It was finding that moment where it happens. I mean, if you want to watch my previous reviews of the Morrison's Polly's beers, and if you want to watch the Marks and Spencer's review of the Polly's beers, then I've already predicted this. Because I'm experienced enough in this industry now to know what's going on. This was always going to happen with Polly's. It was always going to happen. It was always going to be a gentle landing, if you like. Their beers come into Marks and Spencer's and Morrison's, and they were fantastic. And everybody was like, "Oh, this Polly's Brew Co beer is fantastic." But they can't keep it up. The reason why they can't keep it up is because they're putting beers into Marks and Spencer's, and they're putting beers into Morrison's. They're putting loads of hops in, and they're making a £5 can of craft beer, and they're selling it for £3 or £3.50. They're breaking even, basically. They might even be making a loss on those beers in M&S and Morrison's. If indeed those beers still taste the same. I've not drunk them for a long time. So what happens is that, of course, it's almost like advertising, isn't it? You make these incredible beers, you make them you break even. You don't lose money, you don't make money, you break even. But what happens is people start saying, "Oh, Polly's in Morrison's, or Polly's in Marks and Spencer's, fantastic." And the word gets out. Everybody knows about Polly's. Everybody wants to try Polly's. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we've landed, we've made it. But this is where I come in. This is where I come in as a consumer-forward person here on YouTube. And I stand here and say, no. please do not kind of like go down the road of becoming just another mundane IPA producer in the supermarket. And I'm afraid to say, unless all the beauty is in the bottom of this can, of course, it doesn't look like, I'm afraid to say that this is the moment where Polly's have chucked out a bit of a mundane beer. Generic tasting, supermarket tasting IPA into the supermarket. Well, what is a supermarket generic IPA then? Well, it's a little bit musty, it's a little bit earthy, it's a little bit drab, it's not firing on all cylinders. It looks very good. It looks very good. It probably has all the same kind of oats in it that it previously did. But it's just lacking. It's just lacking on... Yeah, it's just lacking on where a Polly's beer should be, for me. If you've been drinking beer for a million years like I have, then you'll understand what I'm saying. You'll understand what I'm talking about. We all know Thornbridge's Joypert is not the same beer that it once was, if you've been drinking beer as long as me. And we all know that Brewdog's Punk IPA is not the same beer as it once was a million years ago. And it's just the same as happened with Magic Rock, the same as happened with Thornbridge, the same as happened with every single other brewery that have decided to launch in supermarkets. The quality just keeps going down. And unfortunately, this is the moment. I'm going to have to change my thumbnail on this video. This is the moment where Polly's have gone from fifth gear to third gear, and it's just not the same beer anymore. So I'm going to give it, I mean, it's not the worst beer in the world for £3.50. 6 out of 10. Mediocre, kind of middle of the road, 6 out of 10. Would I rather drink a £3.50 Polly's Infinifold India Pale Ale, or go and buy a really crisp, cold, but in the fridge cold, Steinhauser Aldi fantastic tasting Pilsner lager, crisp German Reinheitsgebot, no messing about, beer for £1 a bottle? And there's your answer all of the time. I am always going to buy a clean tasting Pilsner, a good tasting German clean tasting Pilsner over one of these kind of musty supermarket IPAs. Thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.